Good evening, students. Today we discuss 13th lesson from history, democratic and national revolution in 17th and 18th centuries. England, the glorious revolution. England, like any other countries, Europe was ruled by kings and queen at the beginning of the 17th century. England, you know, all the regions of England are the most what is called Britain. That means England, Wales, Scotland and Ireland. The four parts including we call Britain had been united in the Tudor dynasty kings. It is a united part in the dynasty of the Tudor time. These four are part in the under control of the Tudor dynasties. The Tudors refused to accept the authority of the Pope and also who was the head of the Roman Catholic Church. They are not recognized the Roman Catholic hierarchy in the Tudor dynasty's administration. This was seen beginning of the British nationalism, the idea that British were the distinct people who should have autonomous of the Pope and the Roman Catholic Church. Means they are not accept the Pope authority in Britain administration. Soon, however, a conflict emerged between the parliament and king. What the conflict it is? Who had the supreme power in the kingdom? So the landowners and the merchants elected the representative to the parliament. But king need to is the from the divine rights. That means from birth onwards they have to specify their belief. And also they are born in the king's families. They are the king or queen from the dynasty. The king need to approve the such parliament to lay any taxes. Let us see how this conflict paved way the democratic government in Britain. In 1603, James I, the Stuart dynasty became the king of England. He disputed the power of parliament to question him. In first time, whatever the James I, the Stuart dynasty king doing it, that one questioned by the parliament. He disputed the power of parliament, questioning him. He believed that absolute powers of king have given by the God, that is the king's ruled by, that is called, the rights is called divine rights. The king had the supreme powers, that type of James I has an idea. So whatever he done, whatever doing, we need not to consider the parliament, according to view of the James I. He was succeeded by the Charles I, who was dissolved the parliament and ruled 11 years without parliament in 1640. So James I also came after Charles X. The Charles X also 10 years without Charles I, not Charles X, sorry, Charles I. He ruled the kingdom without parliament 11 years. In 1640 he forced to convey the parliament for giving special grant to need to money to fight some wars. The parliament which is continued 1640 to 1660, so it is continued, that's it is called a long parliament. This is to control the deposited. Okay, he was succeeded Charles I, who dissolved the parliament, ruled 11 years without parliament. In 1640 he was forced to convey the parliament to give the special grant to him, for need for the some fights or some war participation. The parliament which is continued from 1640 to 1660, 20 years it is continued, that is called a long parliament. We decided to control the deposit of the kings and his ministers. The long parliament punished the ministers and offends the Charles I. It is absolutely a special court created by the king. Charles I took advantage of difference with the parliament and tried to arrest his opponents. At the same time, a civil war started between the parliamentary party and the king's party. Civil war means, what is the meaning of civil war? The internal war in the country, that is called civil war. Which one at least 5 years, ultimately Charles I was defeated and executed 1649 and England became the republic. This experiment of the republican government did not last long, immediately 1688. William of Orange and his wife Mary, the granddaughter of Charles I, were invited by the parliament, not by the throne of England. The new arrangement was worked out of the ministers responsible to the parliament. So king and his ministers also responsible for the parliament only. Whatever parliament given the sanctions, that one only the expenditures. And the powers of the kings also restricted this parliament supremacy. The king's powers also transferred to the parliament. Not like parliament became the supremacy was established in favor of the democracy. The power of king did not divine rights, but it was confirmed by the parliament. So kings not have any divine rights. All the rights given by the parliament only, under control of the parliament. The supreme power was transferred to parliament. This is without shedding of any blood, single drop, or firing of any single shot of firing. The power transaction was transferred from king to parliament. This transferred power systems we can all it is called a glorious or bloodless glorious revolution or bloodless revolution. You may remember that the people had the land and property only could have the vote in the election of the parliament. Today also we can observe at the time of before independence in the under control of the elections in the Britain parliament. The seats in the different area had not been allotted according to the population. All people not allowed to be populated voting because who are the paid taxes? They have the right to vote. As a result, many low population or area had many seats, which a high population area did not have any seats. Low population people has seats, so many parliament, but high populated. These highly populated people not to pay the tax to government because they are laborers. They don't have any own properties. They are new like patients. They are tenants, serfs. That's why they not have to pay any tax to parliament. That's why they don't have any seat. The common people of England being agitated for the right to the system. In 1832, the voting rights were extended to more people and some of the anomalies are removed. The right to vote gradually extended to the different section of the population, eventually all adult by 1928. We get this type of right to vote after Rajiv Gandhi he gave to 18 years. But when we get independence at 1947, the Indian democracy system, we are given the right to vote to all Indians who had completed the age of 21 at that time, without discriminating any genders, based linguistics, given to a right to vote in 1947 elections. We can observe it. After Indian independence, we get this type of right to vote. Before we can observe in history, England get 1928. The parliament and the government in England was grew in stages. Okay, tomorrow we discuss remaining lesson. Thank you.